Well, when we look at the structure of a distance runner's training, there's certain elements that regardless of whether we know the athlete or not, we can apply to their training. For example, if you're a marathon runner, one thing that's going to be fundamental in your build-up is a long run and practicing running at race pace. The same is true for running technique. We can take a number of elements from the best runners in the world and apply it to our own running performance to see not only a more efficient running technique, but more speed implemented for longer, which in the name of distance running is the goal. So today I want to have a look at 3 fundamental elements of running technique which you can start to apply in your own running to see these performances over time. Let's have a look. Well, it doesn't matter whether you're looking at the world record holder for the 100 meters or the marathon in either the men's or women's events. One thing you quickly notice is that these athletes are not only the fastest, but they're the smoothest. You don't have to have a trained eye to recognize the fact that Usain Bolt looks unbelievable when he runs. But what is it that he's doing so well? What is it that he and Eliud Kipchoge and everyone in between is applying to their own running performance, which is seeing such good results? Well, there's 3 elements that we can see quite clearly. First of all, their ability to distribute energy effectively. What does that mean? Well, essentially, every single runner for every single distance stores tension somewhere. We want to have a look at where that is and how to improve it. The second thing we can see is body angle. Is there too much of a hunch? Is there too much of a lean back? Is there a nice balance in between? And the final one is the symmetry that these athletes run with and why that is a big factor in running performance. So when we look at these athletes, the first thing I want to point out is just that relaxed look that each athlete brings to the table. Without me even giving a description of what it is that they're doing so well, you can see that they look relaxed. Now, what is making these athletes look so relaxed in this particular situation is the fact that the tension that so many of us store in the latter part of a race isn't anywhere to be seen. So many athletes store tension through their jaw, through their lower arms, and through their shoulders. Now, you can see it in shoulders. They'll often be up around the lower part of their ears, or their shoulders will sort of be squeezing back together. One of the big factors when there's tension through the shoulders, and you can practice this right now, if you squeeze your shoulders back together and try and take a deep breath, you notice that naturally your body's ability to absorb oxygen when you're doing that is limited. It feels as though there's a restriction taking place. So one thing that you can do to improve this element of your own running is constantly ask yourself the question, am I storing tension in my shoulders or my jaw right now? Getting yourself into a habit of this throughout the day can feel a little unnatural, feel a little bit strange, but simply asking the question helps you become aware of where it is that you're storing tension. If the answer is yes, you are storing tension, ask yourself where and how. Are your shoulders up? Are they back? Are you leaning forward? And then with the simple use of a breath, bring yourself into an element of relaxation by just feeling on the exhale all of that tension drop out of the shoulders. You'll notice there's a real sensation of relaxation come through there. And constantly asking this question is going to make this a more natural process where eventually it'll just become an extension of your running and you'll be doing it without even realizing. The second thing that you notice with these athletes is that there's no super far lean forward and there's no super far lean back. Often we'll see an athlete hunched over at the hip. So from their feet to their hips, it seems to go in one direction. Then from above their hips to their head, that seems to be hunched right over. Not only does this limit stride length, but stride efficiency, which when we're trying to implement some faster running is a really big inhibitor of that. The other one that we see, which ties in with the first point I made about tension through the shoulders, is some athletes will be almost leaning backwards as though they're running on their heels. You think about this on a practical level, and naturally, each step forward, you want to just roll into the next step. When you're leaning too far back, not only is that inhibited and you feel as though you're running with brakes on, but you're also having to fight your way through each stride to maintain the momentum in each stride. So one thing that I do with a number of athletes that I work with is I'll get them to stand with their hands on their hips and stand up tall. Imagine there's a line running from the back of your heels to the back of your head, and you want to see that line on a very slight angle forward without any variation in the angle from above the hips. You want to just be able to see if you can gradually move that momentum forward. As you feel as though you're about to fall and your body has to catch you, you're going to just naturally move into a forward momentum. Throughout the course of practicing this over 10 meters and 20 meters, you'll start to be able to apply into your work when you're jogging, striding, and racing. It feels unnatural, like anything does when we first begin it, but throughout the course of a couple of weeks practice, it will start to become more and more natural. The final thing that we want to do is develop some form of symmetry in our upper body. Now, a lot of the time when our tension in our shoulders becomes too much, you'll see that over rotation through the upper body. This means that as we're trying to use our energy well, we're not, because our energy is just being thrown around in the upper body. And more than that, our lower body has to fight to stay in some kind of line. What you want to do, and if you've got a bathroom mirror you can stand in front of to practice this, is just practice swinging your arm in a way that's symmetrical. If your body starts going from side to side, you know that there's tension being stored through those shoulders. So if you can start to develop a little bit of an arm swing, arms at about 90 degrees, it's a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason, with your hands nice and relaxed, and start to apply this into your jogs and your strides and your races, your training. Soon enough, these three elements are going to come together to have you running more efficiently. If you need any more guidance with that, I offer personal one-on-one coaching on both technique analysis, but also on your running coaching, which I've linked in the description below. If you need guidance, regardless of what level you're running at or what distance you're training for, be more than happy to help you there. If you're after some more general guidance from a number of the best athletes and coaches and those surrounding those people in the world of distance running, make sure you join our training hub, which I've linked in the description below. It's only $5 US a month, and within that you'll get access to bonus podcast episodes with some of the greatest minds in the sport. You'll get access to our experts video library and our training programs. There's also a number of discounts and coupon codes that you'll get access to in there as well. So make sure you jump on there. We're developing a good community of athletes who are really trying to take their game to a new level. Apart from that, if you've got any questions, make sure you list them in the comments below. Happy training. Good luck with the progress. Be patient. Be consistent. Running tends to reward those who do those things well.